There is nothing wrong. In fact, there is a lot of things incredibly admirable about a wife protecting her husband. But your wife vouching for your health doesn't fix it, and it just focuses attention on her. Namely, what is about to come over the next couple of months will be comparisons with Joe Biden and Nancy Reagan, or worse, Joe Biden and Edith Wilson, who basically sat in for her husband, President Wilson, after his debilitating stroke. That is not good for Joe Biden or Jill Biden. Once the shadow presidency stories start, they cannot be stopped. Bill O'Reilly is here, anchor of the No Spin News, author of the coming book, Confronting the President, No Spin Assessments from Washington to Biden. And you brought up Joe Biden a week ago on this program. Bill, good to see you. Start with some breaking news. In the past hour or so, the House Oversight Committee demanded from the Department of Justice the transcripts and any audio or video recordings of the special counsel's interview, if you will, with President Biden, where he allegedly made all of these mistakes, including not remembering when his son died. Do you think there even are audio and video recordings? Do you think the White House allowed that to happen?
There's a transcript. Yeah. I know that, and I expected that the journalist organizations would file a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. I'm not surprised that the Republican partisan committees in the House are doing this. They want to embarrass Joe Biden. But I'd go about it a little bit differently. I wrote a message of the day on BillO'Reilly.com that blamed, in part, Jill Biden for the situation here. Those of us who really understand how the government works know that Joe Biden has been a ceremonial president for at least a year. That means he isn't involved in the high-level decision-making. His staff basically makes the decisions, present it to him, and he says, fine. They write it up, and he reads it on the teleprompter. He 100% of the time goes along with the progressive view of how this country should be run. That's how the open borders happen. That's how the attacks on the fossil fuel industry happened in the beginning of his term. And it's straight down the line progressive. He is the most liberal president by far this country has ever seen. So what people need to understand is that the far left that runs the Democratic Party doesn't really care whether Joe Biden is impaired or not, as long as he does what they want him to do. And so far, that's been 100%. Not one deviation away from it. It's almost shocking, historically speaking.
Fair enough in terms of how liberal he has been on this. It's interesting hearing now from what you might call moderate liberals. I think back in the day, any of us would have considered Bob Costas a liberal when you looked at him and you listened to him. And then he was on Bill Maher on Friday night. Take a listen.
If Biden's hubris is such that he doesn't understand the best interest of his party and, more important, his country, then he has to be shown the door.
And there was massive applause after that. Any chance that happens, Bill?
You know, I don't believe that Biden will be on a ticket. I don't think it'll come down that way because he is doing what his party wants.
Okay, well, then how's it going to happen? You said it's not going to happen.
The problem is that he could lose if he's on the ballot. So I don't think he's going to be on the ballot. I think he'll do what LBJ did in 1968. Okay. He'll issue a letter probably early summer, say, look, health reasons, I can't carry on through a second term. I'm going to, serve out my first term, but we'll go to the convention and they'll pick somebody there, which is perfectly legal. And that's what I believe will happen. But I want to get back to Jill Biden, because I'm disturbed by this, but I'm not a soulless guy. I mean, I have compassion because my mother went through this, exactly the same thing that Biden's going through. And I had to take her car keys away and her checkbook away, and it was heartbreaking to do it. She didn't want that. And she was in and she was out, but she was out so much time that she put herself in danger behind the wheel of an automobile. Jill Biden made a statement. You didn't use the statement, but she made a statement. You used the White House written statement. Her statement was different that she went out with. How dare the special counsel Robert Hur mention Beau Biden? How dare he do it for political points? Now, I'm saying to myself, this Justice Department, and Hur works for Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, has done everything it could for 3 years to protect the Biden administration from Hunter Biden and charges that the president enabled Hunter Biden to amass millions of dollars from foreign concerns. They have done everything they could. Now, Jill Biden says, political points? What might that be?
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.